Hello students, good morning to all. So this is our third lecture on non-aqueous solvents. Today we are going to discuss physical and chemical properties of liquid ammonia. That we are going to discuss liquid ammonia in detail. We'll be doing its physical properties and the chemical reactions which are associated with liquid ammonia as which can be carried out in liquid ammonia as solvents. As we all know, as I have discussed earlier also, that liquid ammonia is the most extensively studied non-aqueous solvent. A large number of organic and inorganic reactions can be carried out in liquid ammonia as solvent. Its physical properties resembles that of water. Here I have drawn a comparative evaluation of properties of liquid ammonia and water. First is the liquid range. Liquid range of ammonia is from minus 77 degrees Celsius to minus 33 degrees Celsius, whereas for water it is 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. As the liquid range is in negative, so there exists some handling issues with liquid ammonia in comparison to that of water. Both the solvents, that is water and liquid ammonia, hydrogen bonding is present. Both are highly hydrogen bonded, but as we all know that oxygen is more electronegative in comparison to nitrogen, so water is much more associated in comparison to liquid ammonia. That is why melting point and boiling point for water are high and liquid range is in positive. Next property is the dielectric constant. Dielectric constant for ammonia is also very low, and that for water it is in the range of 80. So this implies having low dielectric constant. What does it imply? It implies that it is a very poor solvent for ionic compounds to solubilize. Mostly out of the ionic compounds, ammonium salts, ammonium nitrates, thiocyanates, iodides are soluble, and fluorides and many oxysalts are not soluble in case of liquid ammonia, whereas in case of water most of these ionic solids are soluble. Next property is viscosity. As the viscosity of ammonia is low, that is it has the value of 0.254 cp at minus 33.5 degrees Celsius, whereas for water it is 0.959 cp at 25 degrees Celsius. As we can see that viscosity of ammonia is comparatively low, so it compensates the low dielectric constant value of water of ammonia by if the solvent is less viscous, so it provides high ionic mobilities to the ion and compensates for low dielectric constants, that ions of solutes will be free to move, more mobile in case of less viscous solvents, which is ammonia, so it compensates with the low dielectric constant of ammonia. Next is self-ionization. Both have the self-ionizing property, that is ammonia can ionize itself into ammonium ion and amide ion, and water can ionize into hydronium ion and OH negative ion. So both can ionize with the ionic product of ammonia very less in comparison to that of water. So having low ionic product means that it can ionize to a low extent, so it can conduct electricity very feebly in comparison to that of water. So based upon this, we are discussing here how ammonia can act as a better solvent than water in some cases. As it is a poor conductor of electricity, as we have discussed that it has low ionizing product, so it will be a poor conductor of electricity. It has high specific heat than water. Viscosity is very low, then thus provides better mobility of ions and thus better conduct electricity by salts in ammonia. This means that salts, when dissolved in ammonia, can conduct the electricity in a better way in comparison to that of water. It has high critical temperature and critical pressure. It is less associated than water, so it will prove to be a better solvent for organic compounds in comparison to that of water. It forms strongly reducing solution. This is the most important property of ammonia, that with alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, it forms strongly reducing solutions. This is the excellent property of ammonia. This is the only solvent where alkali metals can get dissolved and forms highly reducing solutions which are highly useful, which we'll be discussing further in detail. Next, coming to the reactions which can be accomplished in liquid ammonia, reactions associated with liquid ammonia. As we have discussed different types of reactions in detail, that what reactions can be carried out in non-aqueous solvents. First category we are going to discuss for ammonia is acid-base reaction. Acid-base reaction are based upon the solvent system concept, as we have already discussed. Here ammonia dissociates as ionizes into ammonium ion and amide ion. This also we have already discussed. All substances giving NH4 positive in ammonia will be called as acids, and all substances furnishing NH2 negative ion in ammonia will be called as bases. So those will be ammono acids giving NH4 positive, giving NH2 negative will be ammono bases. All ammonium salts, that is ammonium halides, nitrates, thiocyanates, which are soluble in ammonia, will be called as acids, and all amides, imides, nitrites will be called as bases in liquid ammonia. Here we can see that amides, as self-ionization of ammonia occurs to ammonium ion and amide, then how come imide and nitrites will be treated as bases in ammonia? This is based upon the fact that imides and nitrites are themselves substituted amides only. So these salts will also behave as bases in case of liquid ammonia. So three types of salts will behave as bases, that is amide, imides and nitrates. This is the point which is to be kept in mind. Not just amides, imides and nitrites will also behave as bases in case of ammonia. Next is the proteolysis. The compounds which are incapable of donating H positive to water can readily donate H positive to ammonia when ammonia is used as solvent. Such reactions are called proteolysis reactions. So proteolysis is the acids of amino acids which generates H positive ion with ammonia and not with water will be called as amino acids. So such compounds will undergo proteolysis. There are some compounds which undergo proteolysis such as urea. Reacts with, when it is reacted with ammonia as a solvent, it will generate H positive ion and ammonia will get converted to NH4 positive ion. And same is the case with acetamide and sulfamide, which are shown here, that we get the formation of NH4 positive ion. And compounds giving cation characteristics of any solvent will be called as acids. So these urea, acetamide and sulfamide will behave as amino acids in ammonia, but they are not acids in case of water as solvent. Next case is sulfamic acid. This sulfamic acid is a monobasic acid when it is used in water, as only OH, as the OH joined with OH bonded with sulfur gets ionized and gives its proton in case of water as solvent. But when we use ammonia as solvent, both amide group and OH group give their protons and it behaves as dibasic acid in case of ammonia as solvent. Next are the acid-base neutralization reactions. Same as the acids and bases reacts in case of water as solvent, that is where HCl is acid in water and NaOH is base in water, they will neutralize to give NaCl and H2O. Similarly in ammonia, ammonium chloride, which is an amino acid, and potassium amide, which is an ammono base, reacts to give KCl and ammonia molecules, which is a solvent. So these are the example of neutralization reactions getting done in ammonia as a solvent. Similar to amphoteric compounds which behave as which exhibits amphoteric nature in case of water as solvent, that is zinc hydroxide behaves as amphoteric compounds in case of water. Similar to that, there is one compound, that is zinc amide, which behaves as an amphoteric compound in liquid ammonia. Here we have presented the reactions of zinc hydroxide in water and zinc amide in case of ammonia, which is behaving as a both base and acid, that is amphoteric compound in ammonia. First reaction is the zinc hydroxide behaving as base. It is reacting with the hydroxy acid, that is HCl, and base and acid are getting neutralized to give a salt, that is zinc chloride. In second case, zinc amide is behaving as base. It is reacting with an amino acid to give ammonia and zinc chloride. Third case is a zinc hydroxide behaving as acid, and fourth case is a zinc amide behaving as acid. When it is reacting as behaving as an acid, it reacts with a base, and when it is behaving as a base, it reacts with an acid. In case of water as a solvent, these are hydroxy acids or hydroxy bases, and in case of ammonia as solvent, these are ammono acids and ammono bases. Further are the reactions of ammono acids and ammono bases. There are very important reactions which can be carried out with ammono acids and ammono bases. One important reaction is the liberation of H2. When alkali metals or alkali earth metals are reacted with some ammono acids in liquid ammonia, liberation of hydrogen is there. That is, this reaction can be used for the production of hydrogen. Also, metal salts, when reacts with ammono bases, this is a reaction of ammono base. Here we are reacting a ammono base, that is KNH2, with a metal salt. Here for metal salt we have taken AgNO3 and HgI2, that is mercuric iodide and silver nitrate. We are reacting it with some of the ammono bases, that is we have taken here as a sample, that is KNH2. Here we get precipitates of amides, imides or nitrides, that is we get the precipitates of, with silver nitrate we are getting the precipitates of silver amide, and with mercuric iodide we are getting the precipitates of mercuric nitride. Next are the precipitation reactions. It involves a double decomposition. Many precipitation reactions which were not feasible in case of water have been accomplished in liquid ammonia by the scientists. Here are some examples. This example we have already discussed, that barium chloride, which was highly soluble in case of water, can be precipitated out by the reaction of barium nitrate and AgCl in case of liquid ammonia. This reaction is the reverse of which was feasible in case of water. Similarly, precipitates of iodides and bromides can be carried out in case of liquid ammonia. Here is the example of zinc iodide getting precipitated out. This downward pointing arrow indicates that this compound is being precipitated out. Further precipitation of sulfides by ammonium sulfide has also been shown here. Ammonium sulfide is reacting with silver nitrate. We get the precipitates of silver sulfide when ammonia was used as solvent. Next category of reaction is ammonolysis. Ammonolysis is the category of solvolysis. Solvolysis is where solvent molecule reacts with some solute and break into its components, that is cationic and anionic part, and gets attached, and one of the part or both the parts get attached to the solute molecules. Such reactions are called as solvolysis or solvolytic reactions. So when the solvent used is ammonia, these reactions will be called as ammonolysis. Here SiCl4 is reacting with ammonia. This is similar reaction where SiCl4 was reacting with water in case of water was used as solvent. There we get SiOH4. Here we are getting SiNH2 which is tetraamidosilane. Next is sulfuryl chloride reacting with ammonia. Here also chloride will be replaced by the anionic part of the solvent, that is NH2 negative, that is SO2 NH2 twice becomes sulfamide. Ammonolysis also include replacement with NH2 NH and nitrite. So ammonolysis doesn't only include replacement with NH2 negative ion, it also includes replacement with NH double bond and triple bond N. Here are some examples. Here we are reacting mercuric chloride with two molecules of ammonia. Here we get one of the chlorine gets replaced with amide, Next reaction, in the next reaction, chlorine is getting replaced with the nitride nitride group. And next is the BCl3, where boron trichloride is reacting in liquid ammonia solvent. Here chlorine is getting replaced with either three chloride groups are getting replaced with 3 of the amide groups, or next it is getting converted to imide group. Here this is a stepwise ammonolysis reaction of titanium tetrachloride, where it is undergoing stepwise ammonolysis and it is finally getting converted to Ti, that is tetraamido titanium. Some organic halides also undergo ammonolysis at boiling point of liquid ammonia. Organic halides undergo ammonolysis only at boiling point of liquid ammonia to give mixture of amines. This reaction is very useful for the generation of amines, but we get mixture of amines. Here X can be any of the halides, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine or iodine. Next we have complex formation reaction. Many complex formation reactions are reported to occur in case of liquid ammonia. Here is one example. Zinc nitrate also reacts in case of water with KOH to give with NaOH to give a complex, insoluble complex called as zinc hydroxide. Similar to that, in case of liquid ammonia, it is reacting with KNH2 and we get zinc amide, which is insoluble. And when we use KNH2, that is we use ammono base in excess, then what we get is we get it converted to a soluble complex of zinc amide with potassium, which is highly soluble in case of liquid ammonia. Another example of the generation of a soluble base is with the formation of copper tetraamine complex from the copper chloride and ammonia as reactants. Next are the solvation. So far we have done the solvolytic reactions. Next are the solvation reactions, where solvates are produced. In case of ammonia, those will be called as ammoniates. Formation of ammoniates have been discussed here. Here ammonia is behaving as Lewis base and BF3 and SiF4 are behaving as Lewis acids, where an adduct complex is formed which are called as ammoniates. BF3.NH3, SiF4.2NH3 are formed. Next category of reaction is the redox reactions. Ammonia is an excellent medium for redox reactions also. Some strong oxidizing agent cannot act as strong oxidizing agent in case of ammonia. Strong oxidizing agents, which were the compounds which were behaving as strong oxidizing agent in case of water, cannot behave as strong oxidizing agent in case of ammonia solvent. Example is HNO3 cannot behave as oxidizing agent in liquid ammonia. KMNO4, which is a strong oxidizing agent in water, will behave as weak oxidizing agent in liquid ammonia. So oxidizing agents become weaker and reducing agents become strengthened in case of liquid ammonia in comparison to water. For reducing agent, we have the example of alkali metal, that is sodium. When it is reacted with copper iodide, it can reduce it to copper. It behaves as strong reducing agent in case of ammonia, but this reaction was not at all feasible when water was used as solvent. So next thing which is to be discussed is the solutions in liquid ammonia. This solutions in liquid ammonia are a very important class of reactions which can be carried out in ammonia. This we'll be discussing in the next lecture. So this is it for today's class. Thanks.